Hello and welcome. I am Dr. Anil Joshi. Welcome you to my series Learn Basics of Radiology with Dr. Anil Joshi. Today's topic is mammography for clinicians. What a mammography means to clinician, what they are supposed to understand from mammography will be covered in this lecture. It is true that mammography is a field of radiologists. It is true that mammography is operated by radiology department. However, it is meant for the clinicians. So clinicians should also know some details of it. So this series goes into detail only up to the requirement of clinicians, and technical details are spared which are covered in some other lecture. So for radiologists, there can be more detail which are available on some other lectures. Now initially disclosure. This is meant to be a series which is going to be for the benefit of the patients. So even though we have borrowed certain classification, certain material from the net which are royalty free, it is going to be used for the benefit of mankind and it is not going to be used for commercial purposes. Whatever information is given through the lecture is meant only for the knowledge and should not be quoted anywhere or should not be used in medical legal cases or medical legal purposes. It is purely meant for the knowledge and for the application by self. Now what is the anatomy of breast? To cover it quickly, it extends from 2nd to the 6th rib, then covered by pectoralis major that is inserted in the acromion process of the scapula. So it is briefly we are giving all details only required to understand the mammography. Now here is the anatomy. Now you can see a clavicle, then pectoralis major. Now pectoralis major we need because it is projected in the mammograph, and lymph node which are over the pectoralis major are important from our study point of view. Then again pectoralis major, pectoralis minor, then fascia, fatty tissues, then lactiferous sinuses, areola where the all converging glands are there, then lactiferous ducts, then breast lobules and Cooper's ligament are some more. All these things need to be known grossly to understand what happens when a pathology takes place. Now extremely important is the anatomy of the lymph node drainage. These are the axillary, that is ipsilateral, level 1 that is called low axillary. These lymph nodes lateral to the lateral border of the pectoralis minor. Then level 2 are the mid axillary. These are the lymph node between the medial and lateral borders of the pectoralis minor. Then level 3 are the apical axillary lymph nodes medial to the medial margin of the pectoralis minor muscle. Then internal mammary ipsilateral along the edge of the sternum in the endothoracic fascia. Now these are the lymph node which drains the breast. Now clinical indications. We are going to the clinical aspects of the mammography. What are the indications? The breast pain, nipple discharges and palpable mass are usually suggestive of benign breast disease. Again I repeat, a pain, discharge and palpable mass, if they are young patients, they may indicate a benign lesion. But if same thing is in the elderlies, again it has got a differential diagnosis. So only looking at symptoms you cannot say they are important or not. You have to consider age of the patients and also the background, that is the earlier patient's relative who were affected or not. Now breast pain alone is rarely a presenting symptom of cancer, is rarely. However, if it is associated with other things, again it becomes a more risk patients. A nipple discharge can be characterized by physiological, that is non-significant, or pathological based on the findings of the history and physical examination. So here is the important role of clinician who differentiate these two discharges, whether it is a physiological or it is a pathological. We need further investigation. A pathologic discharge is an indication of terminal duct excision, that is the involvement of the terminal duct. There can be something and that can be malignancy or infective. Now the management of a solid mass depends on the degree of clinical suspicion and the patient's age. Again and again we repeat these two things, degree of clinical suspicion and patient's age, and what symptoms are grouped together. Breast pain, nipple discharge, and palpebral mass are the most common breast problems. Then breast disease in women can be benign or malignant. Then frequency of the breast cancer varies with the age of the patient and presenting complaints. Breast cysts can be diagnosed and treated by aspiration, which can be a curative one. Now, pain is the most common breast symptom. Mastalgia is more common in premenopausal women than in postmenopausal women. It is rarely a presenting symptom of the breast cancer. Then the etiology of pain is unknown. Its relationship to the menstrual cycle and its frequency occurs in premenopausal women suggests a hormonal etiology. So this also needs to be important. Age of the patient, where the cause can be a hormonal. Then no reproducible alternation in estrogen, progesterone or prolactin levels have been identified in women with mastalgia. The premenstrual water retention in the breast has also been proposed as a cause of mastalgia but not proved. Now we are continuing on same line. No histologic finding correlate with the pain, that is mastalgia. The fibrocystic disease is often present in a biopsy specimen of a woman with breast pain. However, please note, fibrocystic changes are also present in the patients or in the breast of 50 to 90% of asymptomatic patients. So not a single finding is conclusive or diagnostic. It is just a correlation, associated symptoms and age of the patient, which are also equally important. It is often due to the benign process and has been reported in 10 to 15% of women with benign breast disease and 2.5 to 3% of women with breast cancer. This statistic we have borrowed from the net. Now, nipple discharges are classified as pathologic if they are spontaneous, bloody or associated with a mass. Then pathologic discharges are usually unilateral and confined to one duct. So that is also an important clinical finding one clinician has to see. Then pathologic discharges are characterized by discharge only with compression and by multiple duct involvement. These discharges are frequently bilateral with either type. The discharge fluid may be clear, yellow, white or dark green. So again a clinical importance, from which duct it is coming, number one. Number two, what is the type, what are the associated symptoms, all this information is given by a clinician. A careful history usually identifies a pathologic and physiologic discharges, then coexisting abnormalities should be excluded through a complete breast examination. The most common cause of pathologic nipple discharge is intraductal papilloma followed by duct ectasia. If a palpable mass is present in association with a discharge, a likelihood of cancer is generally increased. Now, the workup of a pathogenic discharge should include localization of the affected duct, examination of the discharge from occult blood. Then cytology generally is not useful because the absence of malignant cell does not exclude cancer, and a positive result cannot distinguish intraductal cancer from invasive cancers. A diagnostic mammogram should be obtained to look for non-palpable masses or calcifications. Magnification views of the retroareolar region may be helpful in identifying the pathology, but this work nowadays is made great ease by CR, that is a digitalization, where the magnification, adjustment of contrast is everything very possible and very easy in examination. All patients with spontaneous unilateral nipple discharge should be referred for surgical evaluation, that's a clinical assessment. Having bloody discharges as well as with clear or serial discharges, they have to be examined by a surgical expert. Now coming to the breast masses. Now the glandular tissues of the breast is nodular, is usually seen in upper quadrant of the breast. Nodularity, particularly when it waxes and wanes, that is appears, disappears during the menstrual cycle, having peculiar periodicity, is a physiologic process and is not an indication of the breast pathology. So detailed clinical history. A clinically significant masses should be persistent throughout the menstrual cycle. These are discrete or poorly defined and differs in characters from the surrounding breast tissues and corresponding area in contralateral breast. The differential diagnosis of a dominant breast mass include microcyst, that is clinically evident cyst, then fibroadenomas, prominent areas of fibrocystic changes, fat necrosis and cancers. So these are the detailed evaluation or point under which a mass should be seen. Now, cystic breast masses. Cysts are common cause of dominant breast masses in premenopausal women more than 40 years of age. So, more common in premenopausal women. Here history is again important. Cyst accounts for 10% of the breast masses in women less than 40 years of age. Then cyst may occur at any age, relatively more common in postmenopausal women who are not taking hormones. Cysts fluctuate with the menstrual cycle, common during the periods of hormonal irregularity, and clinically cysts are well demarcated from the surrounding tissues. They are firm and mobile. Cyst that has filled rapidly may be tender. On physical examination, it is often difficult to distinguish a cyst from a solid mass. So this limitation has to be kept in mind. However, still it has got a significant importance. The patient with solitary breast cyst. Now how you will manage this patient? Should be re-examined 4 to 6 weeks after cyst aspiration to determine if the cyst has recurred. So first detect, second aspirate, third do follow-up. Now aspiration is an appropriate first step in the management of a breast cyst with clinical follow-up. Non-palpable cyst identified by mammography and confirmed to be simple cyst by ultrasound examination require no treatment, however just a follow-up. Now what are the solitary breast masses? Non-cystic masses in premenopausal women that are clearly different from the surrounding breast tissues require histologic sampling by fine needle aspiration, core cutting, needle biopsy or excisional biopsy. Then observation for 1 or 2 menstrual cycle is done for vague asymmetry or nodularity in absence of breast masses. The extent of imaging required for evaluation of a solid breast mass depend on age, the status of the patient and degree of the clinical suspicion. The imaging studies are used to define the extent of a potentially malignant and to identify the palpable masses whenever elsewhere in the breast. These also should be identified. Mass as well as elsewhere the masses. Now what is the triple test approach? Now this is something which a clinician must know. What is a triple test approach? This is a clinical examination, ultrasonography or mammography and fine needle aspirations. So if the breast mass is observed, followed up plan must be established to facilitate early detection of breast cancer. The size of the lesion must be measured on subsequent visits for assessment of increase in size over the time. The patient is examined every 3 to 4 months for 1 year for increase in size by an experienced physician. As the patient's age increases, clinically evident benign breast problems become less frequent. I repeat again, as the age increases, clinically evident benign breast problems become less frequent. In other words, they are likely to be more malignant. Therefore, abnormalities detected on physical examination in older women should be regarded as a possible cancer unless they are proved to be benign either by the mammography or by the histopathology. Now, in women more than 40 years of age, diagnostic mammography is a part of evaluation of a solid breast mass. In the patient with a breast complaint, A screening study consisting of two standard views of the breast, that is a craniocaudal and mediolateral, that is CC and MLO, is inappropriate. The radiologist should give attention to an area of clinical concern and should clearly opine on that if required with the mammography, if required with the sonomammography to top up, and if required, patient should be sent to MRI. Now, extra views can be obtained to ensure that the lesion is adequately visualized and to document the extent of the masses. These again are important as far as follow-ups are concerned. In presence of a dominant breast mass, a normal mammogram should never be considered a proof of absence of breast cancer. Again I repeat, if mammogram is negative, do not mean patient doesn't have a cancer, needs a careful attention by a clinician. So also patient needs a follow-up or any additional investigation. Maybe X-ray mammography negative, maybe sonography will be done, or maybe patient asked to go for MRI. Then what are the imaging modalities? Sonomammography, X-ray mammography and MRI mammography. The topic of this lecture is essentially X-ray mammography. We have got different lectures covering sonomammography, then MRI mammography, but most of the time we will be emphasizing the importance of X-ray mammography combined with sonomammography, and all our remaining lecture are concentrating on this. Now this is the MRI mammography, which clearly shows the lesion as well as associated pathology. Now often a normal mammogram can have different pathologies. We should not be called as pathology because that may not be abnormal. It can be just a normal finding. One of it is the axillary lymphadenopathy, is very extremely common. Then not all the time the nodes are insignificant. Now here we have got a case we are showing you where this case was proved to be a tubercular case because patient was on AKT and we can see the lymph nodes showing the characteristic also. Now they are not benign, they are inflammatory. Patient was on AKT, so that was confirming that they were of the same etiology, that is of tuberculosis, extremely common in certain part of India. The aim of this lecture was to give idea about mammography to a clinician. Number 2, what a radiologist expect from a clinician, how a clinician should interact with a radiologist regarding future management of patients, which are the patients which are potentially important from follow-up point of view, which are the patients in which there is no need to give much attention as far as follow-up is concerned or as far as other investigations are concerned. So also which are the patients where other investigations are indicated. We have seen all these things. This lecture was basically meant for the clinicians, those who are involved in the management of the breast pathologies, taking help of the mammograms. With that, I thank you for giving me your valuable time. Please note, a radiology is not a race, it's a process. Be a part of this process. If you become the part of process, the knowledge which is accumulating in you, the knowledge which you are gaining is an academic feast. It will give you a academic interest. It will give you additional information about the knowledge, and with most of these knowledge you have to gather by yourself. You have to see more and more mammograms. You have to interact with radiologists. You will have to ask your doubts. You should take opinion of radiologists in management of patient. I acknowledge with thanks and gratitude my mentors, that is the management of BLD deemed to be university, Sri B.M. Patil Medical College, then Hospital Research Center Vijayapur, staff of Radiology Department, who has helped me by their active participation, IT and Photography Department, without whom this would not have been completed. Mammography project has got different lectures. Mammography has got also the lectures which are meant for common people. It has got multiple videos, it has got multiple technical details, so there are different lectures and different topics covered in different videos. They are also available, and there are more than 4. Soon there will be another series of 4. So lot many videos are there which will be focusing on the mammography from clinician, mammography for radiographers, mammography for the radiology students, and those who are general physician and surgeons. Thank you.